Hello there, Hard Times Guy here. Boy, I've had a great response from the Janetta Bailey video that I made and put out there. And I mean, it overwhelmed me. I didn't expect anything like that to happen. It's just something that I felt in my heart that was worth saying. And I just wanted my cousins from Craighead County and thereabouts to know that they were an important part of my life. I got this video that you're going to see today. Hadn't got anything to do with that. It's Hard Times Guy through and through, but it's not the same kind of video as that one was. I hope you can put up with it and the next couple while I get this thing behind me about going to auctions and the auctioneers aggravating me. And I'll get back, I promise you. Good Lord willing, I can last that long. I'm going to put some more of them Arkansas memory videos out there. And I got some about my first cousins here in Indiana too. Enjoy this video, and thanks again for the support you give me on that last one. This is the Hard Times Guy. Moving on to the next thing. Got the guys here today, or got some of them. Jaybird. Got Jaybird and Lewis and Junior. They're here. Thought Dog was going to be here. Dog, he texted you. He's in a deer stand. It's pouring down rain. Got a chance at Big Mo, and he wasn't leaving because, yeah. Okay, Dog was going to be here, but he's not here today because he's deer hunting. Pretty hard to catch up with Dog when it's deer season because he's an outdoorsman and he don't miss too many chances to. We'll talk about that another time. But Dog's supposed to be here. He's deer hunting. I thought, what are you doing here by yourself? I hardly ever see you two separate. He's in Florida. He's in Florida and you're here? How'd that happen? You had a girlfriend. So you had to get back to your girlfriend? He wouldn't come? Girlfriend was down there. Now, I see. Yeah. He had a girlfriend, Florida. They was down there. Him and Ray Bob. Or Jaybird, run out of money. So when he run out of money, Ray Bob stole his girlfriend. Of course, you come on back. He wouldn't loan you no money? Yeah. What's her name? Tamika? What kind of name's that? A made up name? What do you mean? Her mother made it up. Oh, okay. Tamika was your girlfriend, you ran out of money, and Ray Bob stole your girlfriend because he still had money. Well, when's he coming home? Okay, when he runs out of money. He's going to come home when he runs out of money. All right, well, I don't want to get into any more of that. Let's get on with what we started on here today. From time to time, I have expressed my disdain for a practice you find in auctions called choice. That's when the auctioneer has multiple items to sell, and he tries to sell them all at once by offering his customers a choice in the hopes that the high bidder will take all of them. That's basically what it amounts to. And there's lots of different things about that. I detest every one of them. Don't like when an auctioneer sells choice. The more an auctioneer sells choice, the less I like going to his auctions. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Choice. Because when you go to an auction, you're going to have to deal with it. At least a little bit, no matter whose auction you go to. And so I want to start talking about it, and I can't get it all covered in one episode, I promise you that. I'm going to start out with some easy examples to illustrate what choice is, give you some basic rules to illustrate how to deal with choice. And because you know that, you've heard me say this before if you've watched any of my videos and were paying attention, the choices we make in life have more to do with our personal well-being, our success or failure, our opportunity to succeed, or our inevitability to fail. The choices we make have more to do with that than any other thing that occurs in our life. Now, some people won't agree with that, but you know that that is my premise. So choices at an auction are like that too. You have to be able to make good choices to succeed at an auction, especially when they sell choice an awful lot. So I want to start a discussion about that today, and we'll continue it in a few videos until we get it all covered, I think. I don't know. I may get tired of it. You may get tired of it. We may quit it before we get it all covered. But the first basic idea, and I'm going to start out with this, by the way, something I just bought not too long ago on one of my road trips, a little tin. I liked it, so I bought it. Don't think I made a particularly good buy on it. I was happy with it, but if I had to sell it again, I might not do so well. So, you know, I liked it. Here it is. I'm going to use it today as a staging table. Set it right there. You may have seen these before. They're what I call woodpecker toothpick holders. And there's lots of different varieties of them. They still make them today, brand new ones. Most of the brand new ones are plastic. They probably don't make any brand new ones like these, but they do make metal ones, I think, that are brand new. And that right there is a typical, good example of the old woodpecker toothpick holder. It's got toothpicks in it. These generally set on the counter in the kitchen. Or often they had these in restaurants for you to get your toothpick. And what happened is you just put his beak down like that, and he come back up and he had a toothpick in it because he got a needle in his nose and it stuck a toothpick. Didn't work that time because there's some toothpicks down in there, but he's old and his nose is kind of dull. So there you have an example of 3 woodpecker toothpick holders. And if I were an auctioneer and I had these to sell, I might say, okay, now I got 3 of these, I'm going to give you choice. And start the bidding, and the high bidder gets to pick the one that he wants. And of all the times that an auctioneer does that, when he does it with an example like this, is the time that I feel like he's within his rights to do that. And I feel like it will accomplish his purpose to do that. These 3 woodpecker holders are all basically identical. The only difference in them is possibly a little bit of difference in their condition. They all have their spring, they all have their needle, they all work. They've all got most of their paint, so they're pretty much the same thing. And when you sell choice on that and somebody gets choice, unless they just want one, they're probably going to take all 3 of them. They're all 3 the same. And so that would speed his sale up, and he'd get the high dollar on all 3 of those. The problem that I have with it is, when an auctioneer has like 30 of them, he puts them out there and says, we're going to sell choice on these. Well, then they're vastly different. He don't save no time. Somebody comes up there, he sells them to some old woman gets the bid. She comes up there, and there's 30 of them out there. She wants to look at every one of them before she picks out the 1 or 2 that she wants. And it just takes more time than you saved by selling choice. So anyway, there's 3. Now I've got 3 up there, and we're going to sell choice again. Auctioneer says, we're going to sell choice on these 3 woodpeckers. Well, you might remember that the first 3 looked like this fella. Now we got a little bit of a difference in them. This guy here is almost exactly like that one, except take a look at it. Do you see the difference in that one? You may not even notice it. This one's got a crest on top of his head, and this one's got a smooth round head. That's the only difference in them. This one here is a little bit different than those in that it's a different manufacturer made that one. So this one was from a restaurant in Marietta, Ohio, and I don't know whether it came out like that or whoever owned the restaurant painted that on the side of it. But that is another difference you'll see in them, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But now you got choice of these. Basically, just a little bit of more difference has been introduced into this auctioneer offering you a choice. We had a local auctioneer, and I'm going to stop about this and tell you another little story, and then we'll get back to this. We had an auctioneer here in my area, and I think he honestly believed that. He believed that these, the ones with no crest on their head, were quite a bit more rare than these. And so when he got one like this to sell, he told the audience that these are rare. You don't hardly ever see these. It's wrong. They're about the same. You see about as many of these as you do these. Same thing. But he called this one the female and this one the males, what he did. And he said you don't see the females very often, and he'd always tell a story about how rare they were. And it usually worked. They usually paid more for the smooth-headed ones than they did the crested-headed ones. That's one part of that story. The other part of that story is, during this period of time that I'm talking about is when I started buying these things. Because you used to see them in a sale, I'm talking 50 years ago when you'd see these. People liked them. They'd pay $25 or $30 for them. And they got up to $35 and then $50. Well, they just kept gaining popularity and seemingly becoming more and more scarce, to where just about any time you saw one of these in a live auction, it brought $100 or more. I never did buy one because there was never any advantage in me as the prices kept going up and up and up. If I'd have bought them early and held them and then later had them, but I didn't, so I liked them, liked to look at them, never bought one. Then the internet came out, and when it did, started seeing these on the internet. And guess what? They wasn't bringing $100 and more on the internet. They was bringing, on average, I'd say about $35. And if the person putting them on eBay didn't know how to list them and didn't get the right audience, every once in a while you could buy one of these for $5, $6, $7. And $5 or $6, $7. And the guy at my local auction, anytime you had one, got more than $100 for it. Guess what I did? You're right. I started buying them. I made me a little thing on eBay where every morning when I logged onto my computer, I'd punch my little thing that said Woodpecker toothpicks, and I'd see how many of them was listed. If there's any of them that was not listed in the right place, I mean, my search engine, it said a few more things than that, but my search engine found most of them. But when you're looking at them on eBay, you're not looking at them just with what your search engine found. There's some of them that somebody just put in toothpick holder or woodpecker or something like that, and so they didn't get to see all of them. And some of those that people weren't seeing weren't bringing enough money. And so I set myself a limit. I thought I can get $100 for them things. Anytime I can buy one for $15 or less, I'm going to buy them. I don't care how many of them I buy. I mean, I'll just put them in auctions and sell them till that market dries up. So I started doing that and putting these in an auction once in a while. And as I did that, I had an opportunity to learn more about them. To start with, I didn't know any more about them than we did when we started this conversation here, and maybe what you knew about them. But I had an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them. And I made quite a bit of money buying them for $15 or less and putting them in auction, get 100 or 105, 120. One time I think I got 135 in an auction for these. And over time then, the general public began to catch up with the knowledge, and the price on these went down. And still in a live auction, you'll see sometimes they'll bring more than they should. Those people don't know no better. Now we put these up here. Now all of a sudden, in my opinion, and let me say something about that. Anytime, and a lot of people are quote unquote appraisers, and some of them are more qualified than others to be appraisers. But whenever you get an appraisal, what you're getting is someone's opinion. And so today you're getting my opinion. If there were someone else, you might get a different opinion. I'm just telling you, I'm not a registered, qualified, certified, bona fide appraiser. I just am telling you what I know about these. And so when I tell you something, remember, it's my opinion. It's not written in stone. I think that's true about all appraisals, but you know, some people are more qualified than others. We started out with this one, and I said in the early examples, this one was probably the slightly better than the others, and the reason was he was just slightly better condition than the others. Now we got 3 more up here, and all 3 of these, even though that one looks to be in bad condition, about half his paint's gone. This one here's got a lot of paint missing too. All 3 of these, in my opinion, are worth more than this one, because now they have something different and unique about them. They have on the side of them a flat spot in the casting, and on the flat spot this one says St. Johannesburg. That might say Ohio too. I'm not sure what it says, but that's what it says on one side. I'm going to show you that. You can see it. See, he's got a flat spot cast on his side, and it's got writing on there, advertising for a place. That was a souvenir made especially for this place to advertise their place on one side, and it's got an advertisement for a tourist place. And this one, it's got a decal on it, and it's on both sides, and it simply says Ozarks. So that little bit of difference makes these a little bit more valuable than this one, in my opinion. The ones that were souvenirs, the one that have a place on them, make them more valuable. So when they're selling choice, can you see here what I'm talking about? There is a difference when somebody sells choice about the merchandise they're selling often, and you benefit by how much you know about what that difference is and how it affects the value of something. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put one other one up here. I'm going to leave that one that's got advertising on it. I'm going to leave that one, so I've already told you about this one. I'm going to put 2 more up here. I'm going to put that one, and I'm going to put that one. And I'm going to tell you that these 2 are significantly more valuable than any of the others. Once again, that's my opinion. These 2, if this one is, say, worth $30, then this one is worth $75 to $100. And more than that if he'd been in better condition. Can you see the difference in those? Of course, the woodpecker, he's a little bit different shape than this woodpecker. Same kind, he's a crested woodpecker, but his body's a little different. It's smaller, his head's more upright. But another difference in him, the log is shorter, and that doesn't necessarily what makes this one more valuable than this one. It just happens to be a fact this particular kind has a shorter log than this kind does. The significant difference in these is this one has no limbs sticking up on the side of the log like all the others did. And the reason of that is this was added later, at a later date, to keep people from sticking themselves in the finger with the woodpecker trying to get a toothpick. They get their finger under there and try to get a toothpick and stab themselves. And so the government, or lawsuits or a combination of the two ended up with a mandate that you had to protect morons from themselves, and they put this so that people couldn't stick their finger in there and stab themselves. They put this on the log. So this is older. Before a bunch of people stabbed themselves in the finger, they didn't have that guard on there, and this particular variety is older than this. And because it's older, it's more rare, more unique. You don't find these near as often as you find these. Consequently, it's worth more. So if you're ever at an auction, they're selling choice on these two, and you get the bid for $25, you for sure want to take this one. And if you think this one's worth more than $25, well, you can back your own judgment on it. But, that's another discussion that we're going to have. And I think I wore out this, choice right now. I'm going to quit talking about it. Choice is a big subject, and we've defined it. We've shown you some very basic, classic examples. Actually, the kind of examples that I don't have a lot of problem with. If auctioneers restricted their selling of choice to examples like these that you've seen today, I wouldn't have that much of a problem with it. But they don't, and so I still have a problem. And so in a future video, we're going to go on with this, and we're going to talk about some of the problems that we have. I only want to mention now as a preview or as a lead into that, when you have a choice in life, that choice gives you the opportunity to succeed or fail. You can make a good choice and increase your chances of success, or you can make a poor choice and penalize yourself for making that poor choice. Whether you made it because of lack of knowledge or you made it because of lack of discipline, it doesn't really matter. When you make a bad choice, it usually turns out bad for you. Okay, here we are again, and you may have noticed I've moved over into the other side of my building here. I'm actually in what we call the barn. And you can hear the rain better over here. If you couldn't hear it on the other side, you can definitely hear it over here because I don't have the insulation in this building that I do over there. But I wanted you to see this. I told you I was going to show you a project. Actually, I think you're looking at two projects. Right there is one that I hadn't been thinking about, but I'll just show you that one as it comes along too. That is a walker. Just the kind of walker that old people use to get around. I'm not there yet, but one of these days I may need one. If I do need one, I'm not going to use one like that. I'm going to get me one of them modern aluminum ones with wheels on it. But that's an old wooden one. And I bought that the other day not because I needed a walker, but because I needed a quilt rack. I had some linens and some quilts and stuff that I wanted to show in my booth. And I just never had a good way to display them, and I'm going to turn that a little wooden walker into a unique and hopefully attractive quilt rack. And so you'll probably see that happen. The next thing is, well, there's a table. I bought it the other day at a different auction. And then that thing sitting on top of it with all them drawers in it, that's something I got from Misty. If you watched my video the other day about where's the hard times guy, or what's this stuff, and where's the hard times guy that we know, and you saw Misty buy a bunch of stuff from me, and then after what you saw happened, she and I made a trade for some of the money she owed me on that stuff to some of the stuff that she had that I liked, and that little cabinet right there with them drawers in it was part of that trade. You're going to see that project turn into something a little more attractive than it is now. Okay, here I'm back again. Going to wrap this video up. I introduced you to a project that's happening, and I'm going to keep that project as being a part of the videos too. As that project progresses, you'll see it happen until we get a final product over there. And I meant to get the Hard Times Waller General back into the videos today and give you some things to waller around, but it didn't happen, so that'll be another time. Um, until we get back, hope everything goes good for you in your life. Hope you make good choices. I hope you and Ray Bob and Tamika get your differences sorted out, and I hope dog didn't fall out of a tree stand today. So until the next time, I'm the Hard Times guy. Have a good day.